Okay, so I figured out the modus operandi of my hypothetical UFO design. Observe the Roku remote. Alright, I'm in the middle of the Roku remote. If I push down, aside from pushing buttons on the TV, it doesn't go anywhere. But if I push at an angle, oh, yeah, if I push at an angle, it responds angularly. Now, I know I had to slide to the end and push here, but if I were glued to the Roku remote and I bent while applying pressure, I would not have been able to roll my fingers, so the Roku remote would have rolled as an extension of my fingers. Keep that in mind, because another thing about fingers, they're flexible. Alright, so let's say we have two Roku remotes and they're opposite each other in a vacuum in space, and they have reaction control motors. Okay? They can rotate in any direction using electric energy. The electric energy comes from a battery. It doesn't matter where that battery is. That battery is powered by solar power, or it was charged before it went into space. Alright. We good? Alright, so we've got two opposite Roku remotes. One of them is on the other side of the camera, so you can't see it. They're floating. There's a string between them. This isn't an ordinary string. This is a soft robot. It's pneumatically actuated, and it can be vacuumed out by air compressors adjacent to the Roku remotes, or part of the Roku remote assembly. However, when you vacuum something out in space, it's not like vacuum packing it on Earth. You also need to compress it. So in addition to the pneumatic actuators that can inflate, we have a winch and pulley rope style, like capstan style, muscular actuators. Those compress, so we have muscles for extending and muscles for compressing. Now, in my finger, which I used for that metaphor, we only have the compressing kind, but the body uses your bones as leverage. This does not work like a human finger. It works like a human body part that I cannot name in decent company on one end, and like muscle cells on the other end. So, to pull the arm in, first we pull the air out of the arm and compress it in a canister somewhere. But then to see the effect of pulling the air out, we also use winches or what have you, like a rotating drive that holds the ropes. We pull those in and it contracts. Okay. And it's not just a single bladder that fills with air. Okay? It's a bladder that is designed with helical cross sections so that it can be steered like an octopus arm. That's important. These both control that. So, they extend. Alright? One of them uses, I'm going to pause the stream so I can Google the correct terminology. One of them uses a momentum wheel. Okay? Perhaps an assemblage of momentum wheels. Maybe one in the center and two that are half its mass on each side, and they spin in opposite directions. Now, we would actually have 3-axis control would give us 9, but it's same difference. So that spins up to give itself inertial velocity, so that instead of speeding up and then becoming saturated to counter rotational forces that are acted on it from an outside source, it slows down in the opposite direction to accomplish the same thing, but to a greater effect and for longer. Okay, so now, as I am spinning the Roku remote resists And that's cool because now, if I'm the opposite Roku remote and I'm completely not having any like reaction wheel action, just complete dead weight, and the octopus arm is bending against the Roku remote to push me somewhere, this Roku remote, rotationally, is a fixed point in space. And that means we have a UFO. How do I define a UFO? It's not the actual acronym anymore. UFO for me is slang. And the slang is short for, it's an object that doesn't vomit out propulsion medium when it travels. Even ion drives have to vaporize a pellet. They turn it into a high energy plasma. It doesn't require a lot of the pellet. It lasts a long time. And if you run it for a while, it can get pretty fast. But you can't escape a gravity well with one. And you also can't push very heavy things with one. This is hypothetically different, okay? So I'd be rolling my fingers and would accomplish nothing, but pretend the tips are glued to the Roku wheel. If I were to roll it this way, it would be the same, hold on, as doing that. And that is a rotation action. And if it resists this rotation, and we have something on the other end of that line, now we can do a walking motion through the vacuum of space. That's wild. I'm not a physicist, but I want them to check that idea out. Hey, if I get made fun of the way the flat earthers do, well, we can all laugh because guess what? Being wrong, it's important. It's how you learn. You have to be brave enough to be wrong in order to learn. And that's life. Some people are wrong quietly, some people are wrong loudly, but it's learning, and learning should be celebrated.